Hey, back from them African streets where I did not do a safari. I
Mm.
was just getting in touch with the land. We are on episode 161 of the Unrefined Sophisticates podcast. I'm back and I'm better. Your host, Ken Jones. To my left,
Morgan Jones.
ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Before we jump into all the things and about how I was running through the six with my woes,
You know how that
we're going
go.
to jump into these shout outs. Shout out to Romania and Barbados. Oh, Riri, I see you. To be in our top listening countries this week outside of these here United States. We're going to shout out to Ashburn and Wilsonville for being our top listening cities outside of Portland, Oregon. Shout out to our top listener this week, returning champ, Alternate Life Force. And shout out to our sponsor, the Nine brand. Check out the latest and the greatest at theixbrand.co.com. Don't let your browser mess it up for you. Autocorrect be correcting things that it shouldn't be. That's one of them. Follow us, the Unrefined Sophisticates, on the Instagrams. Follow us at Unrefined Sophisticates. Follow me, Can, at I Technically Can. And follow Morg at Portland Morgan. Make sure you like us, subscribe, and review wherever you listen. And tell a friend to tell a friend about us. Double those entendres. Yes. I'm back. You
I'm
held
so
it
happy you're
down.
back.
You held it down. You held
Oh,
it
thank
down while I
you.
was out of town.
I'm so happy you're back, not just because I love you so much, but also the intro was hard for me to do. And I like run through it in my head as you do it every single
Yeah.
time. So so you'd think I should be able to do this. And instead I was
Yeah.
like,
Nope. I look at it like a song, right? There's so many songs that I can only sing when I'm hearing it. But if you ask me to just run that thing,
yes,
nah,
yes, yes, yes.
mm, nah.
Okay, I'll take
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah. It's similar, but you knew the sentiments. You knew
I
the
did.
sentiments.
I hope the listeners felt it. I hope
Yes.
they understood. I was trying to channel you.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely took a little time to go visit with my Faja and
Faja.
stepmaja. Um it was an adventure to say the least.
Hmm.
We longtime listeners, you all know how I feel about the heat. Uh and for whatever reason, for the days in which I was in nice San Antonio, um there was three-digit temperatures throughout. Not only three-digit temperatures, but also 80 to 90% humidity, which basically means water is just in the air, ready to lay on your skin.
Yep.
That's what was happening. So
Forever
I
wet.
got there. What's crazy is looking at the forecast. It was all sunny, all the stuffs. I'm like, cool. I didn't pack. I just so happened to have thrown a hoodie on because of the fit. It tied the fit that I was flying in. Had it been a
Mm.
nice day here, I would have left here in a t-shirt and had no long sleeve nothings. As we're getting ready to land, they come over to PA like, hey, it's we got to circle around for about 15 minutes, wait for this thunderstorm to pass. Like, wait, what? Okay, inclement weather, cool. Land, get here, walk out. Pops is telling me as we're walking out, like he had to pull over. It was going crazy. Windshield wipers on full speed, couldn't see anything,
Doesn't
sky
matter.
lighting up, all the zooms, all the whams. Walk out them doors, 1 a.m. The way that my whole face moisturized. And I was like, this is 1 in the morning. This is how we gonna start this? Cool. That aside, great time. Has some of the best Who Dat Nolans. If y'all ever in San
Mm.
Antonio, check that out. Walked in, dude looked like Colonel Sanders. I knew it was gonna be real. Uh,
I'm out.
he gave me the he gave me the player treatment. I was like, oh
It
yeah,
was Jack Harlow, huh?
hey, I was in that thing, and yeah, that was some of the best food, some of the best brisket I had in my whole life.
Mm.
Did Texas barbecue stuff while I was down there. I was buying food as if I had two stomachs. It
But
everything
also
was
in
like,
Texas, they give you portions that are like
let me try that. Yeah,
one is like you have 2 stomachs. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
that's probably something you weren't used to seeing. Because
that
here
and then
it'd
the
be like,
prices of everything had me, contemplating life. Like, do I go back? Do I just leave it all behind? But I'm back. I
is
couldn't
this
leave
where I
y'all.
belong?
Where I wanna be. But I'm here. I'm loving my life as is. Glad to
Yeah.
be back. Miss my sis. I did miss my bed. I was on a twin bed in the guest room for the days.
Oh,
Luckily, I sleep stiff. Like, I don't move around. I'm not a flipper flopper. I'm
really?
usually on the edge of my bed, even solo. I sleep in the same little space.
Little spot?
Yeah, so
Were
it
your
wasn't
feet
too
hanging
crucial.
off?
That's a good question. I think I was kind of bent a little bit,
Okay.
so it wasn't just I wasn't planking. So I'm sure if I did, they would have had a little hang time.
You had a
And I
little
don't sleep
dangle.
under covers either. It definitely wasn't gonna do it there. But so it was just kind of like a little. I was looking at like a little cot, three hots in a cot.
But did they have the good AC blowing? Because I feel like
Yeah, so
everywhere
did
in
definitely he turned it on for me. He was like, they had been just letting, air circulating fans. He's a fan of like more of the heat than I am.
whew,
And so, yeah, they cranked it on and got that central air flowing. But yeah, overall, great time. A lot of dope stuff in that city. Definitely looking forward on going back. Is I did. Oh, let me give this one thing. I went to the hood spot, needed a little quick taper. And
oh,
I was like, oh, I'm in the trap right now. I knew it when I walked in. We knew what time it was. I was like, okay, this is my comfort level is right. So
right.
I know
Feeling
I'm in the
good,
place
feeling
I'm
great.
supposed to be at. Yeah. And dude that had did my joint, when you feel, I know you're not all getting faded and stuff, but there's a point where you're like, that feels like that's going higher than
Oh, no, like, when I used to
normal.
get my undercut,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
it always felt
And
like this was the middle of my head. Like, I was always like, "I don't understand what's going on right."
and I mean, I've been getting cut. Shout out Dante Famous, Dante Pachel.
Mhm.
Keeps me right. I was like, this is just going and it's taking a little longer than it should. I didn't ask for nothing in the front, just tapered it back a little bit just so he cleaned back there. And this probably was like a 20-minute thing.
Hmm.
Right. And I'm like, this feels like it keeps going higher. And I'm like, maybe I'm just not, man. So with that, when it was done, I'm like, okay, cool, hop up. Cause how can you mess up a taper in a barber shop? Give my little $10 that he asked for. Cool. Catch up with y'all. Go about my day. Ended up going to the house to go swap out clothes, hop in the shower. And then I'm like, I'm touching the back and I'm like, this just feels like an abrupt stop. Like this, I'm not feeling a transition.
I'm not feeling the fade because it
It
wasn't
almost looked like it was just skin to then
skin to
the
hair.
inch or so thick of hair that I've got. And I really had to contemplate, do I go back here and turn this up a notch without having any idea where I'm at? But also, you can't fix this.
Right. Like,
You know what I'm saying? So there was a moment of, okay, cool, definitely not rocking with that little spot ever again. Next time I'll do my due diligence and I got to get
lesson
into like
learned.
some groups and stuff. I gotta start friending people from that space so I can start getting the inside track on what's
Mhm.
what. Yeah, yeah. But anyways, that was my quick little thanky thing. Um, quick hard pivot because as y'all are listening to this, it is Tuesday, which means election day. That is happening today. You do have an opportunity if you are able to get your mail in vote postmarked today, meaning you get it in there before the mail is sent out. So dropping it in the mailbox might not work if you don't know what time your stuff gets picked up. But if you go to a post office,
It's got to be
you can
postmarked.
definitely get it postmarked for today, and that thing will count. I wanted to throw that out there. Morg might have some more for you.
And this is some news you can use.
Hey, hey, hey. That was hard. Woo, call her a producer if you wanna.
So you hard pivoted too quick. I was like, oh no, 'cause I definitely wanted that at the top. But that's the news you can use for today. Uh,
Yes.
get that ballot in. Honestly, if you are sitting at or near your ballot and you have not voted yet, this is your time to pause this incredible podcast and fill out your ballot because
Yes.
all of the votes, we need all of the votes. There's so much happening in this city and so much confusion and misrepresentation of what's going on. If you need to hear this, let us tell you really quickly one more time.
Mhm. One more
Uh,
again.
they're all of the you're hearing things like there's all this crime happening and there's all of these everything's exploded and there's record breaking all of that. It's just simply not true. And the data does not bear that out. We have to I don't know how we are going to combat this, but if you don't know that, right now is your moment to if you don't believe me, hit the
Just
Googles.
watch.
And also remember that there's a lot of moneyed interest going on right now to make
Yes.
Portland a
Pay
red
for
state.
play.
I mean, to make Oregon a red state and make Portland a red city. And with all of the, like I said, confusion and misinformation that's happening, it is possible. And we just can't regress as much as we have already slid as a country. Like this is a city that is for all of its, um, failures, it is also still better than many other places to live, and that is for certain policies, certain people, and we need to
Mhm.
keep those people, and we need to get more people like them in positions of elected office. So please vote, and today's the day.
And also understand your vote does matter. Your vote
Mhm,
does count. So thinking that I'm just one person, if everybody hits that I'm just one person, nothing happens.
mhm.
So remember, collectively, people power is very powerful.
And don't
Rally.
you just you wanna do it, fill in those bubbles.
It's your civic duty to please that. That was just that's a little rap, little rap. So yes, please.
So in more
Here.
news you can use,
Mm,
um, we have talked about on this show, we've talked about misleading headlines or misrepresentative headlines where,
yes.
there's you may question like why would you even make that the headline because the story itself isn't even really that big of a deal or, and so there's a difference between clickbait and then purposely mm, leaving information out or purposely adding information that doesn't need to be there. So
Oh,
in the headline, right? And then there's
oh,
clickbait, which is I think a separate thing, which is its own needs its own media training.
okay.
But specifically, there was a Palestinian journalist who was killed this week by the Israeli Defense Force, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that as if it's controversial. It should not be controversial. It is just the facts.
Yeah.
And instead, we have, because of our relationship, well, there's a few reasons. Because of our relationship with Israel, and when
Uh-huh.
I say our, I mean America, and the propaganda machine that has worked for a very long time in different ways. One, we know that anti-Semitism is a real thing and that
Yes.
is something that none of us should stand for. However, disagreeing with the way that Israel as a country treats other people is not anti-Semitism. Like, you can critique the country's policies and it not have anything to do with their religion, their ethnicity as people, nothing. It is simply, this is bad.
Yes.
That said, America doesn't know what to do, right? Because they have this alliance, and they have some shared values in the way that certain things are happening there. So it was really interesting to see how this was being reported, because it should be pretty straightforward. Instead, we get things like this. Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh shot dead while covering Israeli military operation in West Bank. Al Jazeera reporter killed during Israeli raid in West Bank. Al Jazeera journalist killed in West Bank. Al Jazeera journalist killed during Israeli. Oh, that's the same one. Sorry. Al Jazeera reporter killed during. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Those three things were the same, and I don't know why,
Yeah.
because I went through and looked for all of these things. Anyway, none of that says what happened, right? It
Right.
doesn't it doesn't say who did it,
Who? Right. How? None of the things.
how like it's just this question mark. She just died, right? Like there were random gunshots. Could have been, so that ends up leaving room for interpretation.
Yep.
And instead of the conversation being about what happened, this is a war-torn area, right?
Yeah.
And it's war-torn because Israel is, oh crap, what's the word? Colonizing Palestine. I mean, I don't. They're just taking it, and for us to just, go along with that, because we're not doing anything but funding it. We just keep sending Israel more money.
Yeah.
There are Israeli settlers going and taking people's homes in Palestine, and we know that that's happening right now. And for it to leave room for interpretation as if this could have been the Palestinians that then killed her, that it was, we're unsure where the gunfire came from.
These things are
The
purpose.
IDF is the one with all of the power, all of the money, all of the weapons. They have stripped these people of their land, of their money, of their opportunity, humanity, all of it. And so to pretend as if there's some terrorist cell that is not being completely, I mean, this isn't that far off, in my opinion, from what we're seeing with Russia and Ukraine. It's just hits different because Middle East, right?
And that's there's a piece of that I think about how we view things. And so far, that's it's always something going on over there, and it's
Right.
this certain level of desensitized, the same way that we see stuff going craziness that's going on in Africa regularly. These things that we just feel like, oh, that's there. Send some money, and they'll figure it out amongst themselves.
But we'll just occupy this land in the meantime, right? Like we'll just take it. What also lends to that is when you have these headlines that don't tell what just happened, and you have people who don't know that this occupation has lasted for so long, has been so deadly, that they are colonizing land and people's homes right now, this minute. People who don't know that and hear stuff like, well, you can't say anything bad about Israel because then that's anti-Semitic.
Right.
They sit with it, right? And that is that's what they think. So to not have a full-blown understanding of what has happened from a headline, because all of these people who do those headlines definitely know that that's what people read. They know many people do not click that and read the rest of the article. They know that it's the headline and they run with it. So somebody is on the internet right now saying, well, we don't know who did it, right?
That
And the conversation shifts from, you are not supposed to kill the press. Like, worldwide, we have all agreed globally that you are not supposed to kill the press. Here we are arguing, we don't know who did it or not.
that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we absolutely do.
And one of the things that I want to point out too, and I throw this into a lot of conversations, that this stuff isn't on accident, right? You just read off different headlines from different organizations. Understand there are very intelligent people who went to school about writing, about language,
About journalism.
journalism in general, but thinking of the way in these headlines, how these are written, this is specific because it leaves it open to some type of interpretation, to either with the hopes, right? I think there's a portion of it that it's a hope that you'll try to read to get the questions answered.
Sure.
But we know beyond a doubt, we just had the conversation about my 53-year-old happy birthday post and how many people in the first few comments let it be known that this was cap, as the kids say.
Indeed.
And the amount of following comments that were happy birthday, you're 53. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Because they're not reading.
Period.
Got the headline and ran with it. So it's the same thing here. Just understand there are very smart people. These are not one-offs. This is done with a level of intent.
And I'm sorry, I jumped so headfirst into reading those headlines that I forgot to say where they were from. And I now remember there were multiple ones of the same one because they were all using the same headline. And it was like, the way
what do they call that, daisy chaining or something, when like one person or like one outlet reports and then the others don't report anything different? They're just taking that and then saying that they got it from the other place,
from Reuters, or from AP or whatever.
Just to have it, just
to have it, just to be on it, just to throw it on there. And for that, that headline was the Al Jazeera journalist killed in West Bank. That one specifically for me, which leaves out everything that's happening at the West Bank. Why is that journalist even there, right? Like, what about the West Bank would be dangerous? Like, it leaves everything out. That just makes it seem like, somebody random on a bike could have just driven or rode past her, shot her, and just kept going. Like, it's just wild. And then on top of that, to add to how this goes, when they were, in Palestine, they're carrying her coffin, and the IDF is there beating the people carrying her coffin. Beating them.
What?
Beating them. They're this is lots of people holding this coffin, walking through the streets. This is it's her procession. And this is a well-known, well-respected, celebrity journalist from Palestine, or maybe she's not from Palestine, because Palestinian American journalist. So
okay, but the roots is there,
right? Like, this is
there.
So she's getting the procession that she deserves, and here is the IDF just like, nah, we're not here for it, trying to get them to drop it like that. I mean, I can't. When you watch this video, what else could it be? These people are not breaking a law. They're not doing anything wrong. And that whole idea of like, just comply. Like, this is one of those moments where it's like, tell me what I should have done. I got all my hands right on a casket. I'm walking through, and you're hitting me in the back of my head, on my back, in my legs. You're hitting me with a billy club because you can. Because you can. And it's the kind of thing that, like, I just can't, I can't get over it. Number one, it's a thing I can't let go. That sort of abuse of power, abuse of humans, it's so devastating. And to trivialize it, to act as if that is, no big deal. And to act as if, like, our police don't do the same thing.
That's what I was about to get to.
Go for it.
Is that point. Because it like, I find, and this is gonna sound however it's gonna sound, the understanding of when things happen around the world and the rallying that happens at times and compassion that's sent out nationally when so many things are happening here. Not that we shouldn't, be looking out for all of our brothers and sisters all over the globe, but at the same time, the amount of resources and monies that we pop up with in moments of things hitting the fan in other places.
When there's been no money, right? There's just
No,
absolutely, it's a
no
drought.
dollars,
No
no
dollars.
dollars
You got no
for the
money
for
for
the
nothing.
for the famine happening right here
Right here,
on
right
the
now.
soil. you know so I'm conflicted in moments when I see these crazy, like, pray for this and hashtag going crazy, and there's so much stuff happening right here that a couple of them dollars, a couple of that supports could correct.
Agreed. It's a hard pill to swallow when you see
Yeah.
$40 billion going to Ukraine aid when,
mm,
you know,
mm,
there's
mm.
a lot of things happening right here, right now. When our
Writ now.
unemployment numbers are skewed, right? Because you don't count the people that don't get unemployment anymore. You know,
Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work.
right? Nobody wants to work.
That's,
And then we're
that's
proud of ourselves when it's like, look, all the unemployment numbers went down. But if you're just counting the people that can claim and all
ooh,
of those other people are kicked off, it isn't that your numbers are down. It doesn't mean that those people have jobs now. It means that they don't have a benefit.
let us talk about the real stuff, baby.
So yeah, that's a very hard pill to swallow. And I just want to continue to, highlight some of those media things in the moment, because one other one really fast, and then we'll move
Yeah,
forward,
yeah,
is there was a woman who allegedly stole some items for her baby. We
yeah.
are currently in
A
a
drought.
full-blown formula drought. And for folks that don't understand that there are lots of parents who cannot breastfeed, um, it is not as simple as just like, breastfeed. What's the problem?
Yeah.
That's free. What's your issue? Um, there are many, many parents that's not an option for
Mhm.
them. So this woman allegedly stole something. The police chased her in her vehicle,
Mhm.
high speed chase. She gets in a crash. Her boyfriend and her infant die in the crash. The headlines were completely nuts to me. Mom kills infant and boyfriend in crash after police pursue her for allegedly stealing Walmart baby items. 5-week-old baby dies in crash after mother leads police on chase. Infant dies in car crash following police chase. Mom allegedly stole baby items from Walmart. That one was one of the ones that was used a lot. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
What that does for me, I don't know what anybody else hears when they read that or hear it. What I read, how that hit me is the police are just doing their job, and this criminal was out on the
That
loose. And
running the streets causing
yeah, and
terror.
we had to get her. And here's this is why, for me, policing doesn't work in the iteration that we have.
Okay.
There are so many reasons, but one of them is this lawlessness that goes on in order to catch a criminal, right?
The
Like,
Wild
it's
Wild
like,
West. Wild
it's like,
Wild West.
yeah, we can run every light, we can break every speed law, we can do all these things and put so many people in danger, in further danger, because here's the thing. People go on high speed chases for lots of different reasons, right?
Mhm.
There are also people that are doing that either, drunk out
Didn't
of their
get this
mind.
scat pack for nothing.
There are people that are doing that are reckless anyway, right? Like they're in this, their state of mind is going to be reckless because of
Yes.
they're drunk or they're high or whatever.
Mhm.
But when you add speed and running away from something, that is inherently dangerous. The police are supposed to know that. And the reason why I know that is when I got a ticket for not wearing my seatbelt, I had to go to a seatbelt safety class, right?
Yeah.
And in
How
that
much it run you?
class, uh, it was $75 for the class and
Okay.
$25 for something else and
Okay.
$25 for something else. So it's well,
Yeah.
125. Uh,
Okay.
which was better than the like $350 ticket, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, oh, where was I going? Oh, the police know that because they use examples of high-speed chases in that safety class, right?
Yeah.
And they use examples of or you learn why there are certain speed limits in certain areas and why, why can't you just go 50 down MLK? Why can't you
Mhm.
just, do 70 on other freeways? And they know that. They definitely know. And then they're in residential areas going 90 trying to catch somebody who stole some formula. Like
Weird, weird.
these are that is not comparable. The amount of people that you're putting in danger in order to get someone for a misdemeanor like doesn't seem like and also 2 plus and should you be worried about this person who's out here just trying to feed her kid?
Right, and that's a point I want to touch on right quick because it reminds me of this article I was reading earlier. um, this ain't a run out of Carlos Rossi wine. This isn't uh breaking the Apple Store window to get some iPads. These are necessities, right? And there was this article I came across, headline on it: Oregon's economy is pushing more people into homelessness. Families increasingly are on edge, and it's not because of personal choices. So for the people that
Hmm.
think, and one of the parts in here I want to, you know, pull from this. It said wages have not kept up with the cost of living, and the gains in wealth have mostly been reserved for homeowners. Increased wages are more heavily concentrated in white collar and professional work and are less visible in less skilled labor. That means that low income families have to pay more, especially for gas and food, creating painful choices for the working poor. Do we buy groceries or put gas in the tank so we can
Mm,
get to work this
mm,
week?
mm.
Now, taking that like this stood out to me because we get so many people that when we think about homelessness and things like that, or even people stealing groceries and things, it's like, oh, they're just out here thugging it out, or they've made some decisions that put them in this space. The cost of living is not keeping up with the wages that are being given.
Right.
People are showing up to work, they're doing the jobs that they signed a contract to say that they would do, but the cost of living just keeps moving. And again, these wages are not. And the
Stagnant.
rate
They
in
are
which
stagnant.
yeah, stagnant. There you go. But everything else is going crazy. The
Yep.
idea of regular gas being $5 a gallon versus what that was 6 months ago versus what that was 1 year ago. You're able to do half of the getting around. It's only getting you to half of what it was at one point,
Yep.
just not too long ago. Now, for people who are on a very tight budget, that is devastating,
Yeah.
very devastating. And so those type of decisions that you're having to make, and I know there's people who can sit back and they're not dealing with food insecurities. They're not dealing with the insecurities that make people have to face these or have to make decisions about, I'm gonna possibly throw this extra stuff in my cart
Right.
and not scan it. That might seem like craziness to a lot
Right.
of people. But again, my child needs a thing. My child is going to get that thing, basic necessity. This isn't a woman running out of a store with a red bottom. This isn't
Right.
going to steal a bike. This is stuff that's necessary and needed.
And the
And
bike might be necessary and needed because gas
yeah,
is $5 a gallon.
you're right. You are right. I'm down for a wheelie or two.
Fam.
Um, it's just, it frustrates me in a lot of moments when I hear conversations, because this idea that, yeah, you can get out here and do the things, like, yeah, there was things that we could do in the 90s, in the 2000s, because people had expendable income for you to be able to have some of the side hustles. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people in this past 2 years that have managed to fall back from a 9 to 5 taken up their passion project and turned that into a profitable situation. Everyone is not an entrepreneur. Everyone is not meant to be in that type of lifestyle.
Yep.
Now, going and showing up to a job in which you sign up for 40, 60, 80 hours a week and still not be able to get by, or just barely be getting by. What that adds in terms of the stress, you have a family to support, you have two incomes. I know people that have two incomes in places and it's still le struggle.
Yep.
And this is for basics. This isn't hair appointments weekly. This ain't coffee every morning, because you know the people with the monies love to say coffee was killing it for y'all.
Yeah.
This is why you're not 100,000-aires.
Yep. If you just quit buying that coffee, you save that at $25 a week.
Yeah. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. You could probably be investing in some crypto.
I want to also just add to what you're saying in the way of, like, if you're a person who can understand or champion Walter White from Breaking Bad or Marty Byrde from Ozarks, people that are white men breaking every law in order to, you know, make sure their family is comfortable.
Oop.
If you can understand that, if you can get behind them, if you are like, can't wait to see them win, you know, reflect. Reflect when you look at somebody else and go, this is a moral failure. You're breaking the law because you're a criminal, because you're morally wrong, whatever it is. The world was enamored with Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And that was a white man who was a chemistry teacher who decided to cook meth because he got cancer and knew he would die and he wanted to set his family up. Made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in the process, right? Which is, that's not making sure your family eats. That's making sure your family has some more money than they have today. You know, you're setting them up for generational wealth all of a sudden, when really what you needed to do was have, you know, benefits that would just, you know, your PERS, your retirement, your whatever.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like, and instead here you are. And if you can get behind that, you can understand a mom stealing formula. You can understand a dad making sure that his kid gets the, you know, pads or tampons that his daughter needs.
Yeah.
Like, you can absolutely wrap your mind around this, because you also have to understand that this isn't inflation. Understand that inflation is a real thing, but also this is just price gouging. These industries, heads of industries, deciding, I'm going to make up for the profit I lost in 2020. I'm going to make up for the thing that I'm doubling back. I'm making up for what I didn't get in the first 2 quarters of 21.
I wish we had to drop it. And who gonna check me, boo? That's what these companies are saying. Who gonna check me, boo?
No.
Yeah.
And they mean it, because Congress over here not doing nothing. The government is just has made it possible for these corporations to do all of these things, to be this powerful. And then they're hand wringing. Then they're out here like, I can't believe the formula is so expensive. I can't believe the blah, blah, blah. You know why?
Oh.
This isn't a secret. You know why. And you guys lobby for that. You get lobbied, and then you vote in order for those oil companies to be able to do exactly what they're doing right now.
And then I want to cook a little meth and make a little dollars. Now I'm all of a sudden a super predator and doing 16 consecutive life sentences.
I mean, I'm laughing, but that is exactly how that goes.
That's how it work. So, like,
nah.
So, in the space of speaking drug stuff,
drogas,
nice little weekends can turn into deadly little weekends. One of the things we've been hearing a lot about is fentanyl, which has been going crazy and killing a lot of people in the process.
Yep.
A lot of people who are not addicts, recreational users, fun time, party drugs, things of that
Party
nature.
time. Excellent.
Party time. And now it's up a room.
Mm.
Um, the crazy part that I don't understand, and I try to wrap my mind around this. I've never been a addict, so I understand that there are certain things that my brain is not going to wrap itself around, and then there's going to be a logical part in there. But as a person who has lived in this world and thinking about drugs, you have people like me who went to dare class, said, you know what? I'm going to live this lifestyle. You guys showed up here, presented to me, and I said, yes, no to drugs. With that, I feel like most people exist in the maybe to drugs. I'll check it out as I come across it, meaning casual user. Then you have your demo of people who are addicted. I feel like the bigger portion really exists in that space of the middle ground.
Yeah.
So
Casual
when you
use.
have
You mean.
something being introduced to drugs to increase its power that's killing people, that seems like it would scare off those casual users. Me as a dealer would be like, I don't want to play that game because I don't want to lose that clientele.
Right.
That's not the thing. It's almost as if fentanyl is increasing in popularity, and I'm throwing air quotes as I say that, but the fact that it started as what appeared and sounded and felt like isolated incidents
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
areas that just maybe this was the batch. They brought in
Yes.
200,000 pills, and those hit these different towns, and then that now it's as if that is the cut of choice.
Mm-hmm.
The busts that
It
are
is.
happening that we hear about now, it is, and I understand that it's not a cut, it's cut with whatever it's cut with, and then sprinkle a little of that to make it seem like it's extra powerful.
Yes.
But there's people who are doing this, and there is an amount that you can get in there that will amplify whatever that high may be. But these are not actual scientists that are mixing this stuff up. So you throw it into a batch of whatever your solution is to create this pill or whatever, this bump of fentanyl didn't break up. So it's all sitting there
All in
together. An end user pops that in that mouth, and voila.
And it's also like only like a pinhead or something like that
Yes, like the
of
Washington's
fentanyl.
nose on the quarter
Okay.
is how much that joint is considered deadly.
And I want to just stretch that out a little bit in the way of, if you have ever made some weed brownies, friends, if you have ever made Jello shots, friends, if you've made something that there's like one's a dud, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some duds, and then there's some crazy powerfuls, and then there's some regulars. Like, you don't have actual control over that as your, kitchen chemist
I'm gonna
with
tell
their
y'all how to do that as far as the weed brownies.
don't listen to him.
You do it in the cupcake, the muffin tins.
Mhm.
That way you're able to put equal parts of the tweeds into each part. Do
And
your
this is
mix
how you
then.
know that but how are you?
What?
You're putting actual flour? Like, what do you mean?
No. So whatever you're using, whether it's your butter,
Okay.
whatever the method that you're doing, some people have definitely thrown
I
ground up.
definitely have, and
So
that ain't it,
that's where I was
friends.
going to. So
Don't do
whatever
that.
solution that you're gonna add, you weigh that out equal parts into each of those, rather than just throwing it all into the batter in the big mixing bowl. So I'm
Right.
just trying to drop for y'all that want to have a consistent high. But as Scruff McGruff said, take a bite out of crime and don't do drugs.
I am out of here. My point is, if you're not
Crack a
like
flat.
trying to make that for other people, if you're not, or for sale or something like that, you are
Yeah.
throwing that all in a pot, and you're just
Yep.
mixing it up, and you're just, so the same kind of thing is happening where it's like sprinkle a little bit in there, and now you have bags, and you don't know who got what
Yeah.
and when, and so
And not
I
even
have
giving
always
people the heads up. Like,
I've been asking this question, Cam, like, as a dealer, like, I would not want to kill my entire
that's
clientele. So this is
Nah.
something for me that I'd be going to whoever I buy from, like, fam, help. All these people is dying. I, this ain't doing what you wanted it to do.
Yeah.
I don't I don't really I still don't get it. And I understand on the face, like the idea that it's gonna give it some razzle dazzle, make it stronger. The heroin doesn't need to be as strong. But you're now putting this in cocaine. You're now putting this in Molly. You're now putting this in things meth. It's in things that don't
Yes.
go together. These are
Yes.
opposing views. And you're
So
throwing them together.
what I do want to say, people, you're gonna live your life and you're gonna do what you do, right? We're adults by age.
Talk to them.
If you're paying for the things, you can get a pack of fentanyl test strips. Very, very cheap. You just need a little bit of what you got, throw it in a little bag, shake that joint up. So let's say at a high end, it's $30 for a pack of that. Let's say at the low end, it's 10. You can get these at CVS's, Walgreens, things of that nature. So if you're out here turning it up, you at having a fun night and wants to partake, because I understand drugs seem fun.
Yeah,
I've seen
they
enough
look
videos that
real fun.
look very fun. With that little couple extra bucks can possibly save your whole life and other people around you. So to please take that a little bit serious. Take that a lot of bit serious.
A lot of it serious. And just to add, if you are an addict, the tests aren't really going to matter, right? Like the tests are going to help people
Yeah.
who are in that range of casual user.
Yeah. That's yeah. So my
Because
movable middle.
yeah. But I'm saying this for the people that don't necessarily understand addiction, right? And so if you are thinking this is a moral failure, if you're thinking that people have the information and so why would they still take it? It doesn't tell you how much fentanyl is in it, right? It doesn't tell you that this is the one that will make you overdose. And if
Yeah.
you are an addict, you likely don't have money to go buy the non-laced go try and find a bag that doesn't have the lace in it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a thing. And now that you've done whatever you needed to do to get this, and so now you've tested it and it has it, you're taking your chances, fam. It's not going to be something that makes you go, okay, well, I'm just not going to do it. Because that's not how addiction works. This
No.
is your body needs what's in that bag. You know what I mean? Like this is not a choice that people are making, I guess is
Right.
what I'm trying
Right.
to
Right.
say.
Right.
And so there are people that get to make that choice, and then there are people that don't have a choice anymore. What we need to be investing in as a society, not only those testing measures, but also we need Narcan, things that will bring people back from an overdose. We know that that works, and that should be widely available. Every single person should be able to just have it. It isn't something that we should be, is behind a counter or
That,
locked away. It's the kind of thing that everybody needs to be able to have in their home, in their car. Every business needs to have it in their first aid kit, because this is the reality of what our life is now. It's not just
yes.
like some people are doing it. When you
Yeah.
understand this is not just addicts, which should, to be fully clear, that is not something that we should just be throwing it away and be like, well, they're addicts, so I don't care. But what I mean is it's affecting such a large group of people, and people that are not, that are recreational drug users, so that now people are like, wait, no, but not you. And I thought sometimes you just did a little line of coke, like,
Yeah.
yeah, they do. And so we need all of the things that can help bring those people back, because we're losing millions of people to a synthetic drug that is just laced in every single other, hardcore drug.
Yeah.
They're gonna get used. This isn't like, put all the death stuff in it and then people will stop being drug users. That's just not how it goes. We have to change people's material lives in order for them to not need to escape. There are so many reasons why people become addicts.
Yes. Yes.
And we're
Yes.
looking at a
Yes.
culmination
Yes.
of it right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
And there's a
Yes.
lot of reasons why people will become recreational drug users that were like Can in some, I will never do it because Dare worked. There's There's a lot of reasons why right now, if you lost your job, if you became homeless, if you're living in your car and you're
Yeah.
still working, you know
Talk
what I
about
mean?
it.
Like life came at you real fast. You may need to take that edge off, you know? And we're not in a position for that to be safe. We should always be trying to make people safe. We know those decisions are going to get made. We should make sure that they're safe.
This made me think. Um, Drugs are more often than not a type of escape
Mhm.
from whatever the reality is. And as you just laid out, like we're in a time that a lot of people would like to be able to escape the reality. And I do understand, I know I joke around about dare and all that, but I get it. And I get how simple and easy it is to be like, oh, pop a little Molly, you feel me? I want to sweat one time. And then that just be that.
That's
And the
the
thing
end
is
of
that it
that.
happens so quick, which is leading me into wanting to also send some love out to the homie John Jordan, aka Little Sick, and his fam, along with the two other people that passed away this past weekend on Mother's Day is when they were found. Had taken some fentanyl laced pills and all passed as a result of that. Found 2 days later, again on Mother's Day. That was a little bit heavy. Again, these are people my age. One of the things, I was having a conversation with somebody too about like when being young and thinking about like we used to call, the users tweakers.
Right.
And tweakers seem like zombies. They didn't seem like humans. It was like y'all are just tweakers. Y'all your own set of people. And then growing and having the luxury of getting older
Mm,
and realizing like, oh, these tweakers are our peers.
right.
And life just took whatever turn it took for them. And this is where they're at.
Still people.
Still people. Still people. And again, knowing like the partner wasn't a tweaker, but in the space of the partner being somebody that got down. He wanted to
Right.
have the fun the way he wanted to have the fun. And as a result, this is where we're at. Again, it's what this made me think of when you were talking about stuff being everywhere. When I was in Texas, I ain't seen this since I was a teenager. There was a condom bowl inside of one of the stores. I
Yes.
took a picture. I had to take a picture of like, what? I ain't seen free
You
condoms on the
doing that?
counter since since my childhood. I feel like that's what
No, for real. I don't
the
think I have
tuxedo
either.
lifestyles was hanging out regularly everywhere. And flavor joints, colorful flavor joints was all over the place. And I can't think of the last time I saw, but in the space of that, where we notice is a sort of was it epidemic? What is it? What is it
Yeah,
when yeah.
epidemic.
Um so an epidemic, and it's like a bowl of those in convenient places placed throughout cities.
Right.
How many lives could be saved if that setup was in play?
And if we were treating these people as humans, because
That
there's a lot of people that have not grown past the idea of those are tweakers, those are zombies, those are clucks. It is, these are people. You do not need to know everything that has happened in a person's life in order for you to be compassionate to their circumstance right now.
right.
Uh, you do not need to know everything about a person to be empathetic to what is happening. So
Yeah.
you see somebody, I mean, and again, this is something that's lacing everything. And the fact that there are, fake pills going around because
Yeah.
people can't get their hands on certain things because,
Right.
like, LOL at the circumstances we're in,
Supply chain
the
is
actual government, like this, we paid for the
mhm,
Oxycontin epidemic. We paid
yeah.
for it.
Hmm.
And we acted like we didn't know what was happening. And what happened there is you get all of these people hooked on something that you tell them is not addictive. You get them hooked on it, and then you're like, hands off. Now you
Oh,
can't get
damn.
these. We just found out that this is super
Oh.
addictive, and now you've been taking too many, and so now you can't have none. What do you think people are gonna do?
So they put them on 100 milligrams a day.
You put me on 100 milligrams. I'm now doing bags of heroin. I
I'm
can't.
a pill popping animal at this
Right.
point. I can't be
You guys made this
contained.
super accessible. You made it super easy. You made it super fun.
Yeah.
And now, because you have
They
taken
colorful.
away those things from these, from folks and regular prescriptions where we knew that that was a real pill, now we have fake Oxycontin, fake Xanax, fake Adderall, fake all of the things that then have fentanyl in it.
Man.
This is a manufactured crisis, but a crisis still, right?
Can I say this too? This is a part of it that going back to the casual, to the movable middle.
Yeah.
Thinking of the people who have popped a little something, trying to have a little time, and OD on fent. That is now how they're known.
Right. Michael K. Williams.
That is the legacy. That's what gets brought up top of the conversation.
Yep.
That's heavy.
Very.
That's heavy. You know, for our radio listeners, y'all want to make sure to jump on over to the other side. You know why? Because I said so. And what I says goes. Did that sound convincing?
It did. I like
that was too light. Let me run that back.
I was trying to be nice.
Because what I said is what the nah. If y'all want to hear what I really want to say, y'all gonna have to jump over to the interwebs, the applications, the digital streaming platforms that you love, and hear the rest of it there. And I got a little word from a bird that Morg might be going topless in the second half. All right.
Fuck you.
Oh, it's coming out.
Wow. I didn't know Max was going to be guesting on this episode.
And now you know.
You're here.
All right. We will pause it here. We will come on back here in a 10. I'll put this countdown on.
Perfect.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So I had muted the board, right?
Uh,
Uh, and when I was talking to you, I heard a voice coming through my headphones, and I was like, "Oh, the
uh.
heat's on already?" Like, you had, like, I peeked over. No,
So no movement.
one of the tabs I had open just started playing, like the local
Duh.
news from Atlanta. Like, yeah,
That be capturing me.
yo. And the only reason that's not coming through is because I had actually muted the board. Like, otherwise, oh, well, I guess you did mute my mic. But like, I'm like, yo, this would just be playing.
They'd have been getting all the insights on Buckhead.
Sitting there like everybody else, like, I thought they were from Portland. I don't understand. I'm confused.
He said, "We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on." You ready to take a little shitty knot?
Hold on. Am I to hit record?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Back in that thing. Take a little shit knot. Take it up top tube sock. Ding.
Tube sock gets me every time.
Ooh. So my first mix had a little splash of limeade with jalapeno limeade juice. Had a little splash of that. It was like, oh, this is a nice accent to a tequilas. You know, I ain't been mixing I try not to mix that often. And that was perfect. And now jumping into just a straight drink was like jarring to the senses.
Wasn't ready.
Yeah, it definitely yeah. But I'm back and I'm better. Took one down.
I'm finishing off this spicy tequila that I got buying by bottle, by label is what I mean.
Yeah.
Not like actual brand.
Let me check it out. Let me see.
It's that one
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cute. I like it. Okay, and
some of the best tequila. I be judging tequilas a lot of times based on the lid and like, does it have the cork in there, the wood cork and stuff. And I remember getting a bottle brought back from somebody's Mexico trip. They had a twist top, which I tie that into Jose Cuervo.
Okay.
And that was some of the best. Let me not say best, just the smoothness of it got me. And I feel like the alcohol percentage definitely seemed like it was more because I got tips a little faster than normal. At least that's what it felt like. And maybe I was psyching myself out like, oh, this is straight from the motherland.
Okay.
Of tequila.
I'll say this, the twist top thing, I identify because I am not like a actual wine or liquor snob. Like I'm just not. But I have come to know that like your wine is supposed to have a cork, right?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have a twist. If there's a twist off top, that it's trash or whatever. It's cheap and no real wine drinker would do something like that. But then like 4 years ago, maybe, I don't know. All of a sudden that was like it. There's just there's so many new brands, all the stuff. They have twist tops. And I remember somebody telling me who is way smarter and more in the know of that world than I am, was like something to do with how the cork actually can mess with the flavor of the wine. And if you really this and that like the twist top really makes it so that you're getting what was bottled and there's no other. And I was like, okay, all of this is just too much for me to even. So the twist top is convenient when I go to movie in the park.
That's where when I started seeing the cans pop up.
Yes.
That was kind of interesting to me. And then I learned that's what is it? 1 or 2? It's like 2 or 3. It's measured out to be like 3 glasses of wine or something. That's why they cost like $8 per can, which is wild.
The ones that are like the little cartons, the
Yeah,
bigger ones, not the can.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That is definitely like 4 glasses of wine.
yeah.
And yep.
I've seen people definitely get there off of those.
Yeah, I have definitely gotten there off of those.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, that happened fast. And that's definitely when I didn't know that it was that many glasses of wine. Certainly says
Just
it on the
sipping
side of
away
it, but I've never. Why would I look at that,
out here, just having some sips.
man? Having some drinks, like, oh, just guzzling it down, and then you're like, whoa, did
Pull
I
up,
drink?
drink.
Did I drink 2
Pull up,
glasses of wine just
drink.
now?
Pull up, drink.
Beautiful
Having a
segue.
hand, man. And I
Beautiful,
had a hand, and I can't drink. Huh?
beautiful, beautiful segue. Segue king.
Mm. There was an album that made its way into our lives. Actually, before even jumping into an album, there was a part
Part 5.
that dropped. So I'm gonna give my quick experience of it.
Please.
So video sent to me. I'm riding around, cruising the streets. Yeah. Hit play on that joint. And so I'm not watching the video. I'm listening to the words, happen to glance down a couple of times. I see stuff going on. And there was a moment I was like,
Whoa,
he looks a little weird.
whoa. Yeah, that's got to
Look
be a
back
weird way
up,
to experience that.
look back down. It was back to Kendrick. Okay. Going some more. And then the bars that are going, I'm like, this story sounds familiar. Okay. And then happen to look down and I'm like, duh, that's hold up. What's going on here? So once I did Park, ran that thing back and was like, what? They have used deep fakes for good.
They did it.
They found a way.
We didn't think we'd see the day.
This ain't I'm black, I'm white. This ain't morphin. This was full on face blend, expression blend,
Teeth.
mouth blend, teeth blend.
That was
In the way that it smoothly came in and then popped back out to where it made you wonder. The first morphs were like, I'm still what? Oh, and then the bars that these morphs landed on.
Genius moments there. That was
Yeah.
like,
What was your experience?
So my experience was Am had to take the girls back to work because they left something. And so it was like they leave. YouTube is up on the TV. I was working on something, but I look up and I see like a new Kendrick thing. And I haven't seen him with that hair before. So I'm like, this got to be new.
Yeah.
And it says Heart Part 5. And it says like an hour ago. And so then I see that it's his account. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna.
It's
I'll just play
official.
it. Yeah,
It ain't
like
a
I'll
lyric
just
video.
play it. So I play it. I go completely blind, just go in and I'm by myself and I'm looking around like someone else is here
Orgasming.
with me. Looking around like, you see
Eargasm,
this
sorry.
too? Okay.
Morgasm. Oh!
Yeah, so my mind was blown. And
Okay.
as soon like I knew where you were, and so I wasn't about to send you a video. Like I thought either you had seen it or you'll get to it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So your reception was shoddy in Africa. I wasn't,
Yeah, definitely. I was probably hunting some of those poisonous frogs they put on the weapons for battle.
Thanks for listening to the Unrefined Sophisticates podcast. We go ahead and send short. So I was texting Am, like I was texting, and then I was like, no, this is stupid because I know what he's doing. He's gonna watch this on his phone, and this is not a watch this on your phone. Like I know that for him, I guess is what I mean. I know that he would rather see that on the TV. So I don't say anything. And then part of me the entire time is worried that he's already like sitting in the car watching it while the girls grab their stuff.
Yeah.
But like he comes in and I'm like, I need you to watch this video real fast. And he's just
Oh.
like, okay. And he's like, wait, a new Kendrick? Wait, no.
Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
So I got to watch him watch it, right? Which was
That's
super dope. And then Bree came in and she was like, what's going on? We're like, you want to watch this? She was like, yeah. So then I got to watch her watch it, which,
so
you know, some of it is not going to be nearly as significant because
right
15 doesn't understand all of those things, but mind blown in all the same moments. And, you know, for different reasons. So just the fact that like his face changed into OJ in the first one, she was just like, whoa, you know, just
yeah. Just seeing a morph.
Yeah. I'm like, whoa. And I'm hearing, and I'm like, what? I was freaking out. It was a lot.
So let me you being, were you familiar with all of the heart versions up to that point?
Like I remember them, but they're not like, I don't know. If you played one of them right now, I don't know that I'd be like, oh, that's the heart part.
Now I need to go back. And the reason I asked is like, now I want to go back and listen to them in sequence because I was hearing somebody's take on it and them saying that it sounds like almost as if he knew this was going to be this. And if that's the case, that boy been different. We know that. And then the fact that he got the sample.
Yo.
Not even the sample. They don't be playing. The estate do not.
Those are the regular drums. Like I mean the original drums. Like that is the song. And no, I'm sorry to have cut you off there.
No, I'm just saying, like they don't play for that to have came out and be at however many millions and millions of views, and there's no repercussion.
I feel like ain't no way
they rocked.
Yeah, exactly.
They rocked.
Like you got the clearance because that video's not hitting. Oh man, I hope we're not wrong about that. Like I totally assumed you got the permission from the estate because they don't do this. Everybody knows they don't do this. You wouldn't do that.
Look, for real, still salty.
Well.
I'm just saying, you know.
You don't just get to like pretend like you remade it though. Anyway, that was one of the first things that Ambush said was they had to get that clearance. How'd they get that clearance? You know, like that's so yeah, that long.
Imagine just being at that level. There was a moment I was having with it and went from that song and then was waiting for the drop. I didn't know what the drop date was. And I'd actually got a message and got asked if I had heard the album. And I was like, am I missing something? Went and looked, didn't see nothing. I was like, okay, I'm not tripping. Did a little Googling. Like, okay, cool. And then it dropped Thursday, 9 p.m.
Bruh.
I was tired. I downloaded it. I didn't listen. Then I got my day started. I did listen.
This is exactly how it went for me.
With it though, I have to still go back through it because I was working and I was doing some video edits for work and I had to keep pulling it out to make sure the audio was in sync and all the things. But we'll be catching a nice car ride, letting that thing ring off.
Yeah.
I did listen to the song that stood in there that I had my full attention. Was what was the name? Hold on, I'm gonna look through here. We Cry Together with Taylor Page on there. To capture an argument, a toxic argument. You thought Baby Boy, you thought Jody. What was that girl's name? whatever old girl's name was, Taraji's character in there going back and forth. Tasha, what was her name? Was it?
I'm really trying right now.
Yeah. Anyways, you thought the scene that it went from the argument to him putting it in his mouth was wild. This was the Renaissance Man version of that. And a fan favorite of mine in terms of how this was a song.
Yvette.
Yvette, there, Tasha. That wasn't even close. They don't even share letters. Yvette,
Yeah.
Tasha, don't share letters. Oh, we got a T. My bad. It was the T. I knew it was a T.
I knew it was a T in there somewhere. And an E. Oh wait, you said Tasha. Never mind.
Yeah, no, it was just the T. We was crossing the dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But yeah, that was one of them ones that stood out, and I'm definitely looking forward to catching this whole piece of art in my ears uninterrupted. Cause that boy good. That boy
Yeah,
is good.
I think a lot of people that particular song hit for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
And I had to pause it because it put me in a different place. And that place was a different person in my previous life used to take my keys all the time. And it was this like, so hearing her pleading for her keys, just, I know we like triggered is such a,
Yeah.
whatever, but legitimately like
That's
took me
good.
directly back to that and was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Toxic doesn't even begin to cover what that is, where you just take someone's agency completely away from them. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is, and I certainly didn't have that language when I was the one that was my life, but like,
Right.
bruh. So I
And
had
I'm
to
sure that
pause.
that's probably something that hit for a lot of people because again, this wasn't
This
we're trying to do some back and forth rap and talking and
this wasn't no
no,
Slim Shady.
this is
A
Dear
dance
Slim.
kid, a dance kid.
That, but I think that that's why that hit because this sounded like you hearing your neighbors going back and
Yep.
forth.
Yep.
This is definitely morphed back to 2020 in the first set of them hood apartments because that's all you could afford. and the paper thin walls giving you all the insights to what's happening
All the
there,
info
or it being exactly how your arguments
in
went.
your house, right?
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of connection in that.
Lots. So yeah.
And
So
shout
that
out to her, the lady. I knew her from Insecure. That
she
was
went in.
yeah. And then that way that they flipped it at the end, though, of the F you, F you,
Oh,
F me,
yeah.
F you, F
I'm
me,
gonna.
F me, F me. Jody.
Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That boy good. That
Indeed.
boy good.
So in the realm of an album like this coming out in, I don't even think it's like necessarily new, but things are so polarizing. Things are so you either this is the best thing you've ever heard or it's complete and total trash. And
Yeah, what were you hearing in the world of the
nobody, I didn't see anybody say it was trash.
okay.
I saw people take issue with specific things. So
Okay.
one in particular, having Kodak Black on the album and multiple times. And Kodak Black being a convicted sexual predator, right? Like that is
Oh, I did
it's
not
an interesting thing to do.
know that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I don't be up with the Kodaks and the blacks.
So, well, I mean, if you were asking me, there's a lot of reasons not to include Kodak Black into things that you're gonna do. But
Yeah.
um, one, he's anti-black, like so. Well, that's gonna be part of it. Um, but yeah, so he had. I mean, he pleaded guilty to this. So you know, everybody can find their reasons for that happening. That can be that you believe that he has done it. It can be that you believe it's easier to say you did it and move forward. In or to take a plea in order to not have. Uh, I think it was in order to not have to register as a sexual predator or
Yeah. Sex
offender. I mean,
offender. Yeah.
um, so there's lots of everybody has their ideas of what's okay and what's not okay, and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe this happened when he was in high school, maybe, or the victim was in high school, but I don't think it was like he was much older than the victim. I think it happened, they were in the same time frame,
Okay.
or age bracket. I mean, time frame. And yeah, she alleged that he raped her, and he then took a plea for that charge.
Oh, yeah. I only know him for saying wild stuff on the internet, so I couldn't even give you songs like that.
Yeah, not like I couldn't at all. Sorry, I was just trying to look up really quick to see if I'm saying this right because I don't want to spread any disinformation. And I'll come back to that.
Okay.
But Kendrick, addresses sexual assault, sexual abuse on the album, and so to then have
Uh,
him on there was like, well, what are we doing here, right? And then there's the contrast. People are doing the and I would just attribute this probably to just Kanye stans, but when Kanye had Marilyn Manson on a song and then had
yeah.
him, he was
At
rolling
that
him
show.
out everywhere for a
Yeah.
second. He is accused of sexual assault, and it was I don't know. It seems like we're rehabbing people that are in the middle of not needing to, like, I don't know why you're taking this on. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
It's
there's
interesting choice, especially if
interesting
it's
choices
known.
too.
Yeah.
And you know that what you're talking about on your own album, right? And like him even addressing that, like in that song where they're arguing and she's like, you're the reason R. Kelly doesn't know he's toxic. Like you're you understand some of this.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
To an extent that this seems I don't know how it's I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So for some people that's purposeful, for other people it's like maybe he didn't know, which is a hard thing for me to believe just because of how strategic Kendrick is. Like
Right.
there's it would be hard for me to believe that. But I'm not saying whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know why I'm
of
being so
course,
wishy-washy about this. I just don't know enough about Kodak Black. All I do know is this was I mean, what I mean to say is I don't know enough about that specific situation, but what I do know is this is questionable. Like that is something that for me is like why would you do this when the rest of the
damn,
situation.
like now I need to go and because I legit asked, and I'm not in the industry, so of course I'm not keeping up with the things. And as you said, this ain't a feature heavy album. Kendrick ain't never feature heavy, and I did notice that he was on a skit talking, then he was on a joint. It might have been was he on one or two songs?
He's on more than that. There's like
Oh,
a couple interludes, I think, and
okay,
then a song.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
So so maybe I had that mixed up, but again, I was tuning in and out with the stuff. But being that that's a reoccurring moment, it seemed like there's got to be something to that. There's a reason because it's
There's a
not
reason.
like they're buds. They're not buds. At least we don't know them to be
We
buds.
don't
It's
know
not
them to
like
be,
if
but
J Rock was on a bunch of interludes and songs that would make perfect sense.
So I need you to understand that immediately. I am a huge J Rock fan, and I'm like, we get 0 J Rock and we get 17 Kodaks. I don't understand how. What? 0.
Was anybody else from
No,
top? No TDEs
no
features.
TDEs. No.
Ain't
No.
this his last joint on that
It
on
is.
TDE? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was trying to scroll through and see if I could find a quick answer for a quick way to say this Kodak situation.
Kodak.
In 2015, he was arrested for kidnapping, battery, and other charges. In Pompano Beach, was arrested for assault, robbery, kidnapping, false imprisonment, driving with a suspended license. Why do you even throw that in? A possession of marijuana after being accused of forcing several people in his car because he suspected someone broke into his home. He was released on bond. Then he was arrested for marijuana again, arrest for sexual battery in a case yet to be resolved. How old is it?
Because ain't he hella young in general?
Yes, yeah. Like what I remembered of him was like he was always in the news for being arrested. Like I don't know his music like that.
That's what
Just knew
I
that he was, like,
remember.
always going to jail, and
And he was
said,
young though, like 15, 16 or something when he came out. That's what I feel like I remember. That he was crazy young, but then being like he heavy though. that's what I knew.
This says Kodak Black allegedly assaulted a young woman in Florence, South Carolina. The woman reportedly accompanied him to his hotel room after his show. Did I say this was February 2016? Show at the nightclub Treasure City. Soon after entering the room, she said the rapper ripped off her clothes, bit her, and raped her. He was charged with criminal sexual misconduct.
I just want to
2016.
say that's why that's crazy is that before knowing any of that, I swear I was gonna make a comment about first seeing him and feeling like he was a kid that bit people. I'm not even kind of joking.
I know you're not. Absolutely no. And
that's
wild.
That's wild. He definitely got a bite as a kid vibe.
Not energy. I bite energy.
Yikes.
We're not making light of any of that.
Not at all.
Not at all.
But we all know or have been around a kid that bites, and it's it's a Luke.
And this is some news you can use.
Oh, she is goated. Yes. I'm a fan of all that.
Then another weapons possession charge. He was put on house arrest and 5 years of probation for something. He pleaded no contest to the possession case. Left South Carolina. Oh my God, get to it. April 2017, angry outburst sentencing in house arrest violation. On April 21st, he was accused of grabbing his anger management counselor by the arm after she threatened to call 911 when he refused to leave a session. She reportedly asked him to leave because he was intentionally disrupting the session by burping repeatedly. I'm actually gonna go to bed. What? 5 days later, on April 26th, he was found guilty on 5 counts of violating his house arrest. We were not supposed to be doing all of this. Nah. I just didn't. I'm sorry. I just don't know that actual story. So I felt like I needed to know it before I could be like all and this is how I feel about it.
Okay.
But I'm not seeing that exact thing. Anyway, so there's that issue. And what ended up happening was all of so many different people and things were trending because this album dropped. So it was
Yeah.
like you like pop on Twitter and see Kodak is trending, so that makes sense because people are like, "Whoa, sexual abuser all over this album. What are we doing that for?" Then there's R. Kelly is trending. Then Trey Songz is trending.
Oh
um
yeah.
oh man, hold on one second, because it was like, oh, and also that person, okay, and then also this person, and it wasn't all because of that, just sexual assault. It was like all over the place. J. Cole is trending because there's, always people that are like, there are always people that just put these people against each other, right? So
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's always the
it is so
go-to.
funny to me because we didn't talk about this, but Ambush and I were talking about it last week. I feel like a lot of the stuff that's um, a lot of these opinions that then take off, it's just like manufactured situations. So
Yeah.
like when I didn't see, I don't see the stuff that these people are saying. So then even when I'm searching for it, so it's like all you Cole fans are blah 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 blah, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, but where are the Cole fans that are hating on Kendrick right now? Where are they? Like, is is it happening, or
It's not.
can people not like both of those people at the same time?
You can't.
You just,
There's only room for one.
it's the silliest thing. And then it's like, then people, that's the debate. People are debating
It's,
if Cole is better than Kendrick and
what do
whatever,
you think?
whatever. Also, how they both keep messing with Kodak, which is an interesting point. What do I think about what? Who's better than
Who's
who?
better, Kendrick or Cole? Who's being They both drop a single same day, same time.
Oh, I'd be rushing to Kendrick before. Yeah, I'd be going to Kendrick first.
And you said you wouldn't find time to come back to the Cole.
I didn't say
Okay.
that. I would
Okay.
definitely get around to it.
In weeks times. Okay, I feel you.
I like Cole. He's just
Everybody likes Cole. You're ducking and dodging.
who are you
You're
yelling
shucking
at?
and jiving.
I like J. Cole. I don't.
That's that. I feel like I've heard that tone and saying that of like, no, I like insert name. But being like, I mean, I don't like him, but no, he's cool.
I think
He's a rapper.
I lead with the things that I don't mean to lead with. I like J. Cole. I find issue with what he does sometimes, and that is not anything other than like the choices that he makes. That
Did you watch any Dreamville Fest videos?
I didn't yet, but I messes with Dreamville. Like I love the whole situation.
But if it wasn't J.
I
Cole
really do
as
like
the
J.
creator,
Cole.
then you would probably have already checked out what was going on.
I do really like Jake. I don't know how we got here. This is so silly. Why are you doing what I was trying to point out on the internet as being something silly? I do like J. Cole. I also like Kendrick. Let's move forward.
How much, if on a scale of 1 to 10, how much you like Kendrick?
How do I disconnect this call?
You don't. Because I got high-speed internet.
I'm gonna hit end meeting.
Well, in the space of grouping things together, Young Thug and Rico got hit, or Young Thug and Gunna got hit with the Rico, black people.
That's what it was. I hope I don't get hit with the Rico. Yeah, hit with the Rico. It did.
And what does Rico stand for?
Racketeering. I don't. Racketeering.
Rappers
Incorporated.
That was way funnier than I wanted that to be. That was good. That was good. ah, was basically that they say you did a thing and being a
Organized.
enterprise, a criminal enterprise.
It's racketeer influence and corrupt organizations.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe not the and. Uh, racketeering influence corrupt organizations. Is that yes? Either way, uh, it's exactly what Cam said. It's
Mhm.
you. You're a part of something big, kid, and
That.
and they can hit you with tons of charges, but they're doing it as a group, right? Like it's this group being charged with RICO have X amount of charges against them
Yeah.
in all of these different things. And then the individuals have whatever their own charges are,
And we'll say
right?
the federal versus the states, because there's different kind of the rules around how the federal RICO works versus your state, just like federal law and state laws can vary.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So this is a Georgia state RICO case.
Georgia.
And the news was huge, right? It was like Young Thug 56 charges. Gunna 56 charges. Young Thug's the leader of a criminal enterprise.
I mean, there's he's slime god,
Young Slime Life.
Slimer, young Slimer. What's crazy, and this is without me going in a deep dive, so I'm definitely possibly spreading misnomers here, mistruths,
Right.
misguided information. But there was some information from someone that said that they read through the thing that Gunner implication in this kind of had to do with a music video
Right.
and some old lyrics.
Right. Which, if that is just the evidence, um,
And that's what we hear a lot of with the Rigo thing is a lot of it is circumstantial and it's based on people telling informants, but
yes,
not so much of seeing a thing
not so
or
much double check it.
that oh they said
It's a lot of they
and,
said and a
and
lot of
that's
I
enough.
saw
Yeah.
and yeah. Um, so yeah, you're right. I guess the best way to frame that whole there's a pretty solid Twitter thread that is explaining that there are differences, explaining that you know, Young Thug has like 2 charges and Gunna has 2 charges. Like it's not nearly as scary as it sounds as a whole and as a headline. However,
Mm.
it is scary because if your evidence is videos, lyrics, Instagram posts, what this person says is that is considered to be quote weak evidence, but is also enough for a lot of juries. It's enough for a lot of people to be like, oh, then yep, that's exactly how they live. Like,
And this is something in which when we were talking offline about it, in the space of rap music, the culture, a lot of artists collaborate. They're not really friends. They don't really hang like that. But in a song, they'll say, "That's my partner. You mess with him, you mess with me."
right,
That type of sentiment being spread, and we understand that in general as actual fans of hip hop, rap, R&B, Kids Bops, Volume 62. Um, we know that that doesn't necessarily mean y'all is rocking. But for someone looking for evidence, air
Hmm.
quote that, these lyrics, even if the facetious, 100 choppers and 100 rounds on 100 choppers.
Right. Uh,
It's like, what? You're smuggling guns.
obviously, you
Clearly,
are
you
a
have a connection
warlord.
with Kalishnikov himself,
About
the Kalishnikov family. Direct number in your telephone. Like
and
thinking of Big
well,
Meech,
it's
we
you
know Big
guys.
Meech in the
LOL.
culture. Big Meech, they didn't have any evidence, like no wiretaps on him, never heard him speaking, never
Right.
a crime committed, all circumstantial. And that man has been washed for a while now
Yeah.
and will continue being washed.
Yeah.
So this is a serious thing.
Very. This person also says social media and the law is still fairly new when it comes to criminal law and how they can be used in court. So it could be helpful or it could not be helpful, but it depends on the judge.
Yeah.
Uh, and they're using captions to those things, music videos, logos, hand signals, jewelry as evidence of furthering YSL as a gang.
Then didn't get them boys no bail.
Nah, no, both denied bond. Uh, I do wonder how everybody else in the indictment, if they were able to get bond or if they're also all sitting.
That's a good. It also, I heard one of the audio clips of the mayor. Was it the mayor or the police chief? I want
I
to say it was. I feel like
I thought that was like the DA or something. That was like, oh, maybe we saw
what.
different things. The person I saw was like, social media is very helpful to us in investigations.
No, this was what we're talking about. Tired of basically the gangs account for a
Oh,
conservative 80% of the violence in these
what?
areas, and that there being a person of notoriety that's a part of this, but basically her whole thing is to make sure that they're not playing at all with this. So this is about to be an example made. And the thing that from that and conversations that were surrounding that, saying about these areas that YSL and there was another three-letter joint, the areas that they occupy are being gentrified at this moment. So there's also this idea of like, oh, we gotta clean this on up quick and fast.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, yeah. I just the thing with understanding how a case works, and especially a case like this is going to take time. So not being given an option for bond and to be able to bail out and fight this case from the streets means you're going to be sitting. This could be years that you're sitting in a county jail while you're going through the processes.
Yep.
That's, I feel like, fairly intentional.
Yeah, and not to breeze past, like to be able to assist in your own defense is something that changes your odds, right? It changes the trajectory of your case. So to not to be denied that
Mhm.
is should not be allowed. Like if we're going to do this carceral system, it needs to be in somewhat even in the even in the talk of what they say as it being you know, a system that is seeking justice and the truth instead of, or I'm sorry,
And
that is seeking the truth, not justice. Like it's not. It's
and let's be like clear about a thing. This isn't somebody getting caught with a murder weapon or the scene of a crime and them feeling like this is a threat in a certain type of way. This is circumstantial. This is people talking. People talk
just
for a
in
lot of
cases.
reasons. A lot of reasons why people might be lending information to the authorities. Um, so being that these young men, I would say, could afford to pay whatever bail amount was given, and that being knowledge.
Right.
It's like we've seen cases of people that are pretty much a smoking gun get bail. Why not them?
Get bails and setovers and all sorts of time to be able to prepare your case. And yeah.
If you went, or go ahead.
No.
Mine is go.
So Ice-T tweeted, "It's easy to make the streets think you're a gangster. It's hard to convince the feds that you're not."
Boom.
Bingo.
Boom.
And this is some news you can use.
Million months. Back in one band my shoes. Yes.
Nah, for real. Like it's very easy. Rick Ross
Yes.
definitely had people convinced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very easy. But to get them to think that you are not that, to get them to, I mean, think about the, oh man, okay, different age demographic, but what was her name? Dolores Tucker was out here getting like everybody's things burned, right? Like trying to get everything censored.
They was stomping out piles of CDs.
Piles of CDs.
Steamrolled.
Just my word. Y'all bought that?
Like, yeah, that was a wild time.
That was a wild time. But to think about how those people in that time thought that every single one of those rappers was the worst person and the embodiment of a super predator, and you are perpetuating these stereotypes about us Black people.
Talk about it.
And that's just that's just white supremacy. That's just anti-Blackness. That is division on purpose. That is an us versus them within the same community. And this is the kind of thing that happens when you can convince the wrong people of the wrong things. And I don't know what these dudes do. I'm not saying that this is, that they're innocent, free the homies. What I'm saying is, but one, free the homies. Like they should be able to bail out. This is not a murder charge. This is not a rape charge. You should be able to bail out.
Yeah.
And work on your situation. To declare them like dangers or something, like I don't know how they were able to deny them bond with this, but to convince those people of the wrong things, and the rest of your fans aren't, or maybe some, but most people are looking at them like, wait, what? What? These charges for these two?
Yeah.
It's,
it's a
super
lot.
unfortunate. Super unfortunate, but you're able to convince those people of that because of the existing biases that are here. And
Schlatt.
Yeah, gotta check those things.
I wonder if what photos they're gonna use. I wonder if they're gonna use the cover of Jeffrey.
I don't even know what that is.
That was when he came out in that expensive dress for his album cover.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All I've seen is mugshots so far.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna find the wild ones. They ain't gonna get.
Is that gonna be the wild one though? I don't know.
No, I feel like because that's the one that would make people be like, I mean, I feel like that would create some type of compassion. They don't want that.
They definitely don't want that.
So hard pivot.
Okay.
You go out on a date, pre-ambush era. You go out into the world. You meet a young lad. He takes you to a restaurant. It's like, oh yes, this is the thing. This is the thing. I'm enjoying this. We're key. Bill comes, reaches in his wallet, slams down an EBT card with cash benefits.
Oh, okay.
Your thoughts?
I don't know. Can you swipe that?
I don't know.
My thoughts are.
I thought the cash benefit side. I thought you can. Can you run those places? I don't know.
I don't know.
I've definitely seen restaurants, not restaurants. I'm not fancy restaurants, but like eateries that definitely serve hot foods that let you. I've seen that in some of the
Yes.
places that we would frequent in the city. They'll be like, okay, this is tight. A little first date, a little soiree. But if that happened, first date, y'all out, y'all let everybody eats. He pulls that out, lays it down.
I got no issue. As
No.
long as it works. If it swipes
Yeah.
and I don't have to come. I got
Okay.
no problem.
Okay. No questions of like, how'd you qualify?
No.
I like that scammer lifestyle. Let's live it up. Let's live it up. I'm in the same vein. Although what I will say is I always have this moment. It's not so bad now, but I feel like when self-checkouts became popular in stores, the volume for telling somebody that they needed their EBT benefits, they needed like to reswipe it or that the card was declined. I feel like that was extra loud.
I'm sure it was.
It's just hearing that. I would hear it in places and be like, yeah, like, why is that? Why doesn't
right
it
now
just
I'm
say like
actually,
electronic payment versus calling out that it's an EBT?
I don't think I've ever heard that.
I definitely
I
have.
believe you. I'm saying
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
yeah,
probably because you be shopping at Whole Foods. I used to be at
definitely.
Winco doing
No,
the stuff.
definitely
Nah.
not. Definitely.
But nah, that was the question I saw and was wondering in that space. Just like I've seen people be like, if you're out on a date and they like pulled out a coupon for paying for part of it. Thoughts on that.
Okay. uh, Did you say you said pre-ambush? Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I want to say me today, who I am, definitely does not think I would have an issue with either.
Okay.
Nah, I don't think I would.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think it through because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Trying to process it through. Okay.
if you threw the coupon down, I might be like, wait, what?
And he was like, "Oh,
Did we?
let's stack them. I got
I
one
do.
too. Man,
I got one too.
the devil of that."
No, like my thought would definitely be like, did we come here because there was a coupon?
Uh
That's that's where
huh.
that's where my head would go. Like, oh wait, is that why we picked this place?
See, he had a but is
But,
that not a
but
man
oh,
taking lead and taking?
listen, you picked it. You took me there. You paid
Mm-hmm.
for it. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't got nothing to do with me.
You don't give a f.
I don't.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
don't.
I'll be like, you got how much you got on there? Can we go ahead hit the store though? Get some shrimp, some
Long as
crab
we ask,
legs.
there is a safe way.
I got a little 50. Let me get the little 90. Little 90. I give you cash right now.
Can't bleep all that out.
Man, I'm happy to be back.
I'm
I'm
happy
glad
you're
we
back.
did this. Got making the things happen. I'm about to get some food because I ain't ate much today. And I needs to. I wants to.
You gotta handle
So
that
I'm
business.
going to. Thank y'all for listening. Follow us on the Instagrams. You can follow us, meaning her and I, on the internets that are worldwide at Unrefined Sophisticates. Follow me, Can, at I Technically Can. Follow Morg at Portland Morgan. Make sure you like and subscribe and review wherever you listen. And tell a friend about us. And it's